Well, today we're going to be talking about replacing the big one, the 1.5 is called a subsill, and then this one up here is called a sill. And we're going to replace this 10-foot section, and I'm using these 2x4s as a brick ledge, or I should say brick veneer. And I'm going to take you inside and what causes these sills to turn like they do, and then we're going to come back out here and replace them. Here's our brick ledge, and then here's our subsill. Now this one wasn't turned up as much as the others have been, but what I did, I just ground a little bit of a ledge so water wouldn't sit there, because that was the problem we were having, is these sills will turn up, they'll collect water right there, and then it rots out this sill, bottom of your trim, bottom of your brick mold. That's one thing that whenever you have lumber, you want to make sure you shed the water away from it standing. But in any case, okay, what happens is the house, and we're fixing to walk in there, these bricks, the subsill will eventually squeeze down. The brick is going to is setting on a concrete perimeter beam, so the brick's going to stay put. But now the framing is going to move inside the brick veneer. Alright, as I'm going to show you, as we were talking about there beside the house. Okay, here's your brick. Here's your concrete perimeter beam. Against the concrete beam, you're going to have a 2x4 laid flatways. That's called your mud sill. Then you're going to have your 2x8 or 2x6 floor joist running across from side to side of the house. Then you've got your subflooring. So in other words, as they're building these houses, they come up, your framing, and then your subflooring. And then once all the subflooring is laid, then they come in, and then they put a 2x4 on top of that. That's your bottom plate. Then they have your stud. Beside the windows, you're going to have a full-length stud, but under the windows, you're going to have these studs that come up, and then there's another flat stud that runs across. Well, why I'm trying to show you all this is because what happens is, as lumber shrinks over time, and we're talking years, that, okay, take a 2x4, your mud sill, let's say it shrinks a 1/16 of an inch. That's got a lot of weight on this little 2x4 because of your total framing on the house. Okay, let's say it shrinks a 1/16 of an inch. Let's say your 2x8 shrinks a little bit. And I'm just using 1/16 of an inch as just a number, so we have something to add. Okay, and then we have your subflooring. Then we have another 2x4. Then we have your wall stud. All that, if this all shrinks between a 32nd and a 1/16 of an inch, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parts that are shrinking. So 5 times 16 is 5/16. So the brick is tight against the bottom of the front of your the outside of your sill. This is not going to move, and so what's going to happen in turn, as all this stuff is going down, this is going to end up. I've drawn it now to where, as this window frame is coming down, this bricks are forcing this to stay the same place. It's causing this thing to kick up, which means that now it's going to start trapping water there. So the only thing you can do is to come in and replace this with a smaller sill, and that's what we're going to go outside and talk about right now. We're going to talk about replacing this warp subsill, and then also we're going to replace the regular sills. Okay, this sill right here, the bottom sill, is the one I'm talking about. And what I'm saying is, if you watch this, as this is not the correct way, but I'm just showing you how this thing, when the framing shrinks and the brick doesn't, you can see how this thing is twisting, and that's what gets in here and holds that water. That's when you see those sills going like that. And so that's why we need to come in here, because now the distance between the brick, this is the so-called brick I was telling you about, so-called brick, and the window has shrunk. Instead of being 1.5 inches, now it's probably down to maybe 1 inch. So that's why, well, there's two reasons why we're replacing this. One, because it has twisted up, and another reason is because, let's just say, it's rotted somewhere, and we're not going to replace just a little piece of it. We're going to replace all the way across. So I'm hoping that you can see this well enough to see how it's twisting. And like I said, this is over a long period of time. It's not just a couple of years. This could be 15-20 years when these things will twist like that. But in any case, okay, now here we go. We're going to replace the sill all the way across.